Chosen one, within you exists a force beyond physical attraction, beyond mere presence, something deeper, something primal, something ancient. It is the energy that has shaped the rise and fall of empires, the force that has inspired poetry and war, the unspoken power that moves through the world unnoticed by most, yet felt by all. Your high sexual energy is not just desire, it is your ultimate power, a power that extends beyond fleeting moments and into the essence of who you are. Most men never understand the force within them. They go through life seeking validation, chasing attention, believing that attraction is something external, something to be gained through wealth, through status, through rehearsed words and calculated gestures. But you, chosen one, are beginning to see the truth, that attraction is not something outside of you, but something that radiates from within. This energy is your natural inheritance, an invisible current that moves through your every action, your every word, your very presence. It does not need to be forced. It does not need to be fabricated. It exists because you exist. It is the quiet confidence in your movements, the steady strength in your voice, the unshakable certainty in your gaze. Women feel it before they even understand it. They sense it when they step into your space, when your energy brushes against theirs like an electric field, when their thoughts linger on you long after you have left the room. It is not just your words that captivate them. It is the unspoken force beneath them. It is not just your presence that draws them. It is the way your energy fills the air around you, commanding attention without demanding it. But here lies the great truth that most men fail to grasp. This energy is only as powerful as your ability to control it, because uncontrolled power is chaos. It is unfocused, reckless, easily wasted on meaningless distractions. It pulls you in every direction, leaving you scattered, leaving you exhausted, leaving you lost in an endless chase for fleeting moments of validation. But when this energy is mastered, when it is channeled, when it is held within you with deliberate focus, it becomes a force unlike any other. This is why the most powerful men in history were not those who begged for attention, but those who embodied it effortlessly. They did not chase admiration, it followed them. They did not seek approval, they moved in a way that made approval irrelevant. They understood that true power does not come from seeking validation, but from needing none at all. And so, chosen one, as you awaken to this power within you, as you begin to recognize the pull you have over others, as you see the way people react to your energy, you must make a choice. You can be like the many, scattered, unfocused, lost in the pursuit of validation, wasting your energy on moments that will never truly fulfill you. Or you can be like the few, those who learn to harness this energy, those who refine it, those who transform it into something that does not just attract, but commands, influences, and shapes the world around them. This is the path of mastery. This is the road that separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. This is where you step beyond simple attraction and into something much greater. A presence so powerful that it does not need to chase, a presence so refined that it cannot be ignored, a presence so deeply rooted in self-mastery that the world itself begins to move around you. And now, chosen one, your journey begins. Chosen one, now that you have begun to feel the truth of your power, now that you see the pull you have over others, now that you understand that attraction is not something to be chased, but something that already exists within you, it is time to step into the next stage, mastery. Because power without discipline is not power at all. It is a wildfire with no direction, consuming everything in its path without purpose, burning out before it can create anything lasting. But controlled fire? That is the force that has built civilizations. It is the energy that forges steel, the heat that transforms raw materials into something stronger, something unbreakable, something with purpose. And this is what your sexual energy must become. Not a force that controls you, but a force that you control. Because most men are ruled by their desires. They are pulled in every direction by their impulses, by their need for validation, by their hunger for attention. They let their energy leak out in meaningless pursuits, giving it away too easily, allowing themselves to be drained by distractions rather than fueled by purpose. But you, chosen one, must be different. You must learn to hold your energy, to cultivate it, to refine it into something that does not just serve you in fleeting moments, but something that becomes the foundation of your presence, your influence, your unstoppable momentum in life. This means understanding that your energy is not meant for everyone. Not every conversation deserves your presence. Not every interaction is worthy of your attention. Not every woman who desires you is meant to receive the gift of your presence. Because a man who is truly powerful, a man who has mastered himself, is a man who is selective with his energy. He does not give it away freely. He does not allow himself to be pulled in every direction. He moves with intention, with clarity, with a sense of purpose so strong that everything he does carries weight. And when you move like this, something incredible happens. Your presence becomes even more magnetic. Your energy becomes even more intoxicating. Because now, you are not just attractive, you are valuable. Women do not just seek your attention, they work to earn it. They do not just admire you, they respect you. They do not just crave your energy, they feel privileged to experience it. And this, chosen one, is the moment where you step beyond the ordinary, beyond the predictable, beyond the fleeting highs of simple attraction and into something far greater. Because now you are not just another man. You are the man who cannot be ignored. You are the man who does not seek validation because he is already whole within himself. You are the man who moves with such unshakable certainty that the world itself bends to his will. And this, chosen one, is where your path to true mastery begins. Chosen one, now that you've begun to master the energy within you, now that you understand its depth, its power, its potential, you must now step into the realm of presence. Because power, no matter how great, is meaningless if it is not felt. And presence, true presence, is what separates those who are simply noticed from those who are never forgotten. Most men go through life unseen, not because they lack physical form, but because they lack energetic form. They exist, but they do not command existence. They speak, but their words do not carry weight. They move through rooms unnoticed, not because they are physically invisible, but because they have not yet understood the silent force that makes a man truly magnetic. But you, chosen one, are different. You have already begun to feel it. The way your energy shifts a space before you even speak. The way people react to your presence without fully understanding why. The way women feel drawn to you in ways they cannot explain. This is because presence is not about what you do. It is about what you embody. And the first secret of true presence is stillness. Most men rush to fill space, to prove themselves, to seek attention, to be seen. They fidget, they overcompensate, they try too hard, and in doing so they weaken their own presence. But a man who is truly powerful does not chase attention, he attracts it effortlessly. Because presence is not in how much you say, it is in how much weight your silence carries. When you enter a room, do not rush to speak. Let people feel you before they hear you. Let your energy arrive before your words do. Let your presence fill the space without force, without effort, without the need for validation. Because when a man is truly present, when he is fully in control of himself, when he is not seeking, not chasing, not looking for approval, he becomes impossible to ignore. And this chosen one is the key to ultimate attraction. Women do not fall for words alone. They do not fall for rehearsed lines or calculated movements. They fall for energy, the energy of a man who is completely comfortable in his own skin, a man who does not need anything from them, but who, through his mere presence, offers something they have never felt before. This is why a man who masters presence never has to convince anyone to be drawn to him. He never has to beg for attention. He never has to prove his worth, because his presence alone is enough to command admiration. And so, chosen one, as you continue to refine this power within you, as you step deeper into the truth of who you are, remember this: it is not the loudest man who is heard, it is the man whose silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Chosen one, now that you have begun to cultivate presence, now that your energy has become something that shapes the spaces you enter, now that you are beginning to understand that attraction is not something you seek, but something you become, it is time to step into the final key, the unshakable mindset. Because no matter how magnetic your energy, no matter how strong your presence, no matter how effortlessly attraction flows towards you, there is one truth that remains above all others. Your mind is the foundation of everything. Most men are controlled by their emotions. They are ruled by external forces, by the reactions of others, by the fleeting highs and lows of attraction. They allow their confidence to be dictated by how they are perceived, by how much attention they receive, by whether or not someone validates their worth. But you, chosen one, must rise above this, because the moment your value depends on the reaction of others, you have already lost your power. A truly powerful man, a man who has mastered himself, a man who is unshakable, does not allow anything outside of himself to determine his worth. He does not seek approval, he creates it within himself. He does not fear rejection, because rejection is meaningless to a man who knows that he is the prize. He does not chase validation, because he is already validated by his own existence. This is the difference between a man who is temporary and a man who is unforgettable. Because a man who is grounded, centered, completely unfazed by external noise, is a man who becomes the rarest of them all. Women feel this instantly. They can sense when a man is seeking something from them, when he is placing his confidence in their hands, when he is hoping for approval rather than already owning his presence. And nothing is more repelling than a man who needs validation to feel whole. But when you, chosen one, walk through the world completely sure of yourself, when you are not swayed by rejection, when you do not bend under pressure, when you do not flinch in the face of uncertainty, you become something that is no longer just attractive, you become legendary. Because true power is not in being noticed, true power is in being unforgettable. And the only way to become unforgettable is to become a man whose energy is never dictated by external forces. This means never lowering your standards for validation. This means never compromising your value for the sake of approval. This means never allowing your confidence to be conditional, because a man whose confidence is based on external approval is a man whose confidence can be taken away. But when your mindset is unshakable, when your presence is unquestionable, when your energy is completely self-sufficient, you will find that the world itself begins to move around you. Because you are no longer a man who is affected by circumstances, you are a man who creates them. And that, chosen one, is the greatest power of all. Chosen one, now that your presence has been refined, now that your silence speaks louder than words, now that your energy commands attention without effort, you must step into the next evolution of your power, becoming a leader of energy itself. Because attraction alone is not enough. Presence alone is not enough. Confidence alone is not enough. These are only the foundation, the roots beneath the surface. But now it is time to grow beyond simply being magnetic into something far greater. The force that moves the room, the energy that shifts dynamics, the presence that does not just draw people in, but leads them somewhere meaningful. Most men never reach this level. They settle for attention, for admiration, for the fleeting moments of validation that come with being desired. But what they fail to see is that attention is only temporary if you do not lead it somewhere greater. If you do not guide it, shape it, direct it towards something lasting, something meaningful, something beyond momentary attraction, then you will find yourself constantly chasing new highs, constantly needing more, constantly trapped in a cycle where every moment of attention fades into the next without ever amounting to something real. But you, chosen one, must move differently. Because now you are not just the man who is desired, you are the man who leads the energy in every interaction. And this, chosen one, is where your real power is revealed. Because when you walk into a room, the energy shifts. It is not just that people notice you. It is that they feel a change in the air. The conversation subtly bends in your direction. The tension rises in ways that are difficult to explain. The people in your presence begin to adjust themselves without even realizing why. This is not coincidence. This is energy leadership. It is the ability to move through the world in a way that makes others unconsciously follow your lead. It is the presence that does not just attract, but guides, directs, influences. And this is why women do not just want a man with high sexual energy. They want a man who knows how to use it with purpose. Because attraction without direction is chaotic. It is reckless, unstable, unpredictable. It creates temporary excitement, but leaves nothing behind. But when a man harnesses his energy, when he moves with clarity, when he understands that every interaction is an opportunity to lead, that is when attraction turns into devotion. Because now, you are no longer just a man to be admired. You are a man to be followed. A woman does not just want to feel attraction. She wants to feel led somewhere meaningful. She wants to know that your presence is not just powerful, but purposeful. She wants to know that if she steps into your world, it is not just for a moment of excitement, but for an experience that changes her. And this chosen one is how you move beyond attraction. Because when you learn to lead energy, you become something that most men will never understand. Not just a source of attraction, not just a presence that draws people in, but a force that directs, moves, and transforms everything it touches. And that chosen one is where your real mastery begins. Chosen one, now that you have stepped into the power of leading energy, now that you understand that attraction without direction is chaos, now that you see how your presence shapes the world around you, it is time for one of the greatest lessons of all, the power of restraint. Because true strength is not just in what you do, it is in what you choose not to do. The world is filled with men who cannot control themselves. They give in to every impulse, every distraction, every fleeting moment of pleasure. They chase, they pursue, they seek, always needing more, never realizing that the man who can walk away is the man who holds the highest power of all. Most men believe that strength is about having more, taking more, consuming more. But the strongest men in history, the men who have commanded entire empires, the men who have shaped the course of time itself, were never the men who took everything. They were the men who knew when to hold back, when to say no, when to choose patience over impulse. And you, chosen one, must step into this level of power. Because women do not just admire strength, they are captivated by restraint. A man who is ruled by his impulses is weak, no matter how attractive he may be. But a man who has the ability to say no, to walk away, to control his own energy rather than letting it control him, is a man who becomes irresistible. Because restraint is power. Restraint is the unspoken energy that makes women crave more. Restraint is what makes your presence undeniable, because you never give it away too easily. And this, chosen one, is why you must be selective. Not every opportunity is worth your time. Not every woman is worthy of your presence. Not every moment of attraction should be pursued. Because the moment you become too accessible, too easy, too willing to give your energy away to anyone who asks for it, is the moment you lose the very power that makes you different. This is why the most powerful men are the ones who do not rush to take everything. They wait. They observe. They choose. They understand that the more exclusive their energy is, the more valuable it becomes. And when you move like this, when you do not need anything, when you are in full control of where you place your energy, when you are the man who walks away when something does not align with his highest path, you will find that the world itself begins to chase you. Because women do not want a man who is available to everyone. They want a man who knows his worth so deeply that he will never settle for less than what truly aligns with him. And that, chosen one, is where your true power is revealed. Because attraction fades, but exclusivity is eternal. And the man who understands that his energy is sacred, that his presence is a privilege, that his time is valuable, that is the man who will never be forgotten. Because he is not just desired, he is a legend. Chosen one, now that you have mastered restraint, now that you understand the value of exclusivity, now that you have learned to lead energy rather than chase it, you must now step into the most paradoxical and yet most powerful force of all. Indifference. Because the highest level of attraction is not about seeking, not about proving, not about constantly positioning yourself for validation. The highest level of attraction is when you do not need it at all. Most men do not understand this. They believe that if they just say the right thing, if they just behave in the right way, if they just put in the right amount of effort, they will earn attraction. But what they fail to realize is that the moment you need something from someone, you've already lost your power. But you, chosen one, must move differently. Because the most magnetic force in the world is a man who does not need to be desired, yet is desired anyway. This does not mean arrogance. This does not mean playing games. This does not mean disrespecting others or moving with a cold heart. This means that your energy is so self-contained, so complete, so unshakable within itself, that attraction is no longer something you seek, but something that flows toward you effortlessly. Women feel this instantly. They sense when a man is seeking validation. They sense when he wants to be admired, when he craves their attention, when he secretly hopes for their approval. And in that moment, their attraction begins to fade. Not because he is any less worthy, but because neediness is repellent. But the man who is truly indifferent, the man who is so deeply fulfilled within himself that he does not care whether or not he is desired, is the man that women cannot stop thinking about. Because now the energy has shifted. Now it's no longer you waiting for their response, it is them waiting for yours. Now they are the ones wondering why you are so composed, why you are not reacting like other men, why you are so unaffected by the same things that make others lose control. Now they are the ones seeking to prove themselves to you. Because the human mind craves what it cannot fully have. And when you are not chasing, when you are not eager, when you are not even concerned about being desired, your presence becomes a puzzle that others long to solve. And that, chosen one, is the secret of the most magnetic men in history. They did not need attention, yet attention followed them. They did not seek validation, yet they were endlessly validated. They did not chase attraction, yet attraction became inevitable. And when you step into this level of detachment, when you move through the world with the quiet certainty that you already have everything you need within yourself, you will find that women do not just admire you. They become obsessed with understanding what makes you different. And the truth is, chosen one, what makes you different is that you are already complete. And when a man is complete, when he is whole, when he is no longer looking for anyone to fill a void within him, he becomes the most irresistible force in the world. Chosen one, now that you have mastered the power of indifference, now that you have become a man who does not seek but is endlessly sought after, you must now move into the highest level of attraction, leaving an imprint that lingers long after you are gone. Because attraction is temporary, attention is fleeting, but impact is eternal. Most men focus on the immediate. They want to impress in the moment. They want to be seen, to be admired, to be desired. But what they fail to realize is that true power is not in the moment. It is in what remains after the moment has passed. Because the ultimate test of attraction is not how someone feels about you while they are in your presence, but how they feel about you when you are no longer there. And this, chosen one, is what separates men who are easily replaced from men who are never forgotten. You must move through the world in such a way that your absence is felt just as strongly as your presence. A woman should not just remember you, she should feel the echo of your presence even in the silence. She should find herself thinking about you in moments of solitude, replaying the way you carried yourself, the way you spoke, the way your energy filled the air. She should be reminded of you when she hears a certain tone of voice, when she catches a familiar scent, when she sees someone move with a similar level of confidence. She should feel that something is missing when you are no longer around, not because you took something from her, but because your presence gave her something so rare that she cannot find it anywhere else. This is the highest level of attraction, not just being seen, not just being admired, but being imprinted onto the mind, onto the heart, onto the very fabric of someone's experience in a way that cannot be erased. And this, chosen one, is how you ensure that you are never forgotten. You do not achieve this by trying too hard. You do not achieve this by seeking to be remembered. You achieve this by being the rarest version of yourself possible, by moving with a level of purpose that others do not, by speaking with a depth that most will never reach, by carrying yourself in a way that radiates such certainty, such confidence, such effortless magnetism that people cannot help but feel your presence long after you have left the room. This is the highest level of mastery. Because now, attraction is no longer just something that happens in the moment. Now you are not just an experience, you are a memory, a feeling, a presence that lingers in the minds of others in ways they cannot explain. And when you reach this level, when you understand that true power is not just in being noticed, but in never being forgotten, you will realize that you have stepped into a space where most will never walk. Because you, chosen one, are no longer just another man. You are a force that does not fade. Chosen one, now that you have mastered the power of presence, now that your energy is no longer something you waste, but something you direct, now that you have left behind the need for validation and stepped into the realm of absolute self-sufficiency, it is time to embrace the most intoxicating force of all, the power of unavailability. Because what is common is ignored. What is abundant is taken for granted. What is always within reach is rarely valued, but what is scarce, that is what the world fights for. Most men make the fatal mistake of believing that the more they give, the more they will be appreciated. They believe that by always being present, always being available, always responding, always seeking to be seen, they will make themselves more desirable. But the truth, chosen one, is the opposite. The more accessible you are, the less valuable you become. Look at history, at the rarest gems, the most coveted treasures, the most legendary figures. It is their scarcity that makes them priceless. The man who is available to everyone, the man who is too easy to access, the man who does not protect his energy, his time, his presence, is the man who is ultimately overlooked. But you, chosen one, must move differently. Because when you become a man who is not always there, not always reachable, not always at the mercy of others' demands, you create something more powerful than attraction. You create obsession. Women do not chase what is always available. They chase what they fear losing, what they cannot fully have, what exists just outside their reach. This does not mean playing games. This does not mean pretending to be busy. This does not mean manipulating others with false scarcity. It means actually becoming a man whose life is so full, so purpose-driven, so deeply engaged in his own growth that his presence is truly a privilege, not a given. Your time is valuable. Your energy is valuable. Your presence is a gift, one that should only be given to those who have earned it. When you move like this, something incredible happens. People start working to deserve your attention. They begin valuing every moment they get with you. They start seeing you not as someone they can take for granted, but as someone they must fight to keep in their world. And this is the ultimate shift, because now you are no longer just another option. Now you are the exception. Now, your absence is felt just as powerfully as your presence. And now, attraction is no longer something that happens in passing. It is something that becomes permanent, undeniable, impossible to escape. Chosen one, now that you have stepped into the rarest level of attraction, now that you understand the power of being unavailable, now that your presence has become something that lingers in the minds of others long after you have left, there is one final lesson that separates the great from the legendary. You must learn to own the world without ever chasing it. Because the final test of power is not how many people want you. It is not how much attention you receive. It is not even how deeply people desire you. The final test of power is whether or not you remain completely unaffected by it all. Most men spend their lives in a cycle of seeking, reacting, proving, performing. They want to be noticed, they want to be admired, they want to feel important, and so they chase. But you, chosen one, must never chase. Because when you chase, you admit that something outside of you holds value greater than what you already possess. When you chase, you acknowledge that you are incomplete, that you need to acquire something to be whole. When you chase, you place power in the hands of others, rather than keeping it within yourself. But the man who is self-contained, the man who moves through the world knowing that he is already complete, the man who does not seek but simply allows everything meant for him to flow naturally toward him. This is the man who becomes truly unstoppable. You must become this man. You must understand that the world itself will bend in your favor the moment you stop needing it to. Because true mastery is not about controlling others. True mastery is about controlling yourself. It is about walking into any situation with the quiet confidence that no matter what happens, no matter who notices you, no matter who desires you, no matter who chases you, you remain the same. You are not affected by rejection, because rejection is meaningless to a man who already knows his worth. You are not swayed by attention, because attention is merely a reflection of the energy you already carry within. You are not fazed by loss, because nothing that truly belongs to you can ever be taken away. And so, chosen one, as you step into the final stage of your mastery, remember this. You do not need to seek. You do not need to chase. You do not need to prove anything to anyone, because you have already become the man that the world cannot ignore. You have already stepped into the energy that pulls everything toward you. You have already created a presence that lingers, that leaves an imprint, that changes the way people experience the world around them. And now, the only thing left to do is to continue walking forward, to continue growing, to continue refining yourself to an even higher version of who you were meant to be. Because attraction was never the goal. Attraction was only the byproduct of becoming a man who is so whole, so complete, so self-contained that the world itself cannot help but revolve around him. And that chosen one is where you now stand.